Well, had a very interesting Super Bowl halftime show. I know a lot of people we're talking about it and excited about it. But it's a little sad to see so many Christians, preachers, conservative moguls, and those that say that they stand for what is right, what is morally correct, and what benefits our community, especially the African American community, what really helps us. It's just sad to see so many of them getting behind musical artists that promote the very thing that they all fight against. It's just hard to see, but I mean, it's hard to understand in a lot of cases. But if you understand the Word of God and you understand the Bible, you know exactly why. It's the truth behind hip hop. What I've been teaching for the last 25 years, it's just, hip hop is still what it is. It's a subcultural movement that they attach music to push immorality into our communities. And we are seeing the fruit of it now with so many children out of wedlock, so many broken homes, so many broken marriages, so many incarcerated, so many murders in our community. We are seeing the fruit of the very performers that performed at the Super Bowl. And it's sad that so many Christians, so-called Christians and preachers and leaders of our movements are backing this. And all it takes is just a peek into the lyrics. But before I get into some of the lyrics of the songs that they performed at the Super Bowl, I want to just do a little backstory on the truth behind hip hop, what I've been teaching. According to the Bible, Lucifer, who we know as Satan now, was a musical being. The Bible talks about him having pipes in his body, vials, tambrets, which are tambourine. He had percussive instruments built in him. The Bible tells us in Ezekiel 28:13, the workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou wast created. So these instruments were in his body. They were a part of his being because he was a leader of the music in heaven. And he was a beautiful being. That same passage talks about his covering, how he was covered with so many jewels, and just a very beautiful musical being that God made to be over music. And then because iniquity was found in him, according to the word of God, sin, which was the sin of pride, the desire to be lifted up, the desire to be famous, the desire to be known by everyone, even more so than God, he was cast out of heaven. Isaiah 14 and 12 says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart. These are the things he said. I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God, meaning I'll be a superstar. I will sit also on the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north, meaning I will be right next to God, or, right next to his level. And then he says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, meaning I'm going to, what they say now, blow up. And then he says, I will be like the Most High. So this is the devil taking what God had given him in his body, his being, his leadership, his rule as a worshiper, leading of the courts of God, leading music and all of that. Lucifer is taking it and trying to use it for his own glory. And he was cast out. And so today we are seeing the same thing. This spirit of Lucifer, or Satan, is getting into people where they want to be lifted up high and they want to be like the Most High God. And it's sad that when they are positioned this way by our world or by Satan, people fall for it, and people receive them as better than human, so they can get away with stuff that normal people can't. And the devil knows if he just hides a message in music, it will be obscured by the beats, it would be obscured by, the melodies, the presence, the outfits, they'll dress, they'll wear certain things, and you won't pay attention to what is being said, but the message will still get in you. Music can go into the mind of a man, disturb his conscience without his consent. That's something God told me 30 years ago, and it is so true. That is why every commercial has music. That is why anytime they want to sell you something, music is attached to it. That's why any counterculture, cultural movement, whatever it is, any movement that goes against society or whatever the case, it's going to always have a music style or genre attached to it. We know that by heavy metal artists, they have music attached to it so that they can push Satanism. Rastafarians have music attached to them. At the time, they were rebelling against the man and against societal norms. It's always attached to it because music is the only thing that has that power. I mean, look at what we're talking about. We're talking about a preacher. We're talking about a minister. We're talking about a leader of a movement that is supposed to be healing our neighborhoods, and they're pushing and applauding artists that are tearing down our neighborhoods. How else could you do that? If we just did it in words, if I went up to a preacher, or if I'm a preacher, so if somebody came up to me and said, hey man, we need to get a bunch of hoes, and we need to get a bunch of bees, and we need to get the weed, and we need to just start doing it. And I'd be like, man, what are you talking about? Or a regular preacher would be like, man, no, all those things are immoral. But boy, if you put it in a beat and that beat gets to kicking, a lot of preachers would be like, now what you say again? And they don't understand. This is promotion of the very thing that they should be fighting against. So let's go into some of these lyrics that were performed at the Super Bowl. Of course, Dr. Dre was there, and he had Snoop with him, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, 50 Cent, and Mary J. Blige, which are all artists that he has produced, and they all had messages in their music, the very music they performed there. First song I'm gonna deal with is Dr. Dre's song Still Dre. That's the song he came out on. The lyrics are, this is what he said in the song: I ain't nothing but more hot S, another classic CD for y'all to vibe with. Whether you're cooling on the corner with your fly B, laid back in the shack, play this track. I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world, still hitting them corners in them low girl. I'll break your neck, D-near put your face in your lap. Niggas try to be the king, but the ace is back. So it's okay for them to use the N-word as long as it's in the beat. It's okay for them to refer to women as bitches as long as it's in a song. It's okay to be a gangster and represent the gangsters all across the world. The ones that are just basically tearing down our societies. It's okay to be that as long as it's in a song. Okay. The next song Dre and Snoop did was The Next Episode. And I mean, the beat in this song is very intoxicating. When you hear the beat, I mean, your body starts moving and you can barely control yourself. So, this is one of those that is just hard to resist when the beat comes on. But let's see what he was saying in the song. In the song, he says, taking chances while we dancing in the party for sure. Slip my hoe a 44 when she got in the back door. Bees looking at me strange, but you know I don't care. Step in this MF'er just a swing in my hair. B, quit talking. Crip walk if you down with the set. Take a bullet with some D and take this dope on this jet. Out of town, put it down for the father of rap. And if your A get cracked, B, shut your trap. Okay, so all of this stuff that's being talked about are the very things that should be fought against. And I can skip down. Let's see, 50 Cent came out upside down and he was doing his song in the club. These are the lyrics to his song in the club. You can find me in the club, bottle full of bub. Look, mammy, I got the X, which is ecstasy, if you're into taking drugs. I'm into having sex, and I ain't into making love. So come give me a hug if you're into getting rubbed. I'm that cat by the bar toasting to the good life. You that faggot A nigga trying to pull me back, right? When my joint get to pumping in the club, it's on. I wink my eye at your B. If she smiles, she's gone. Okay, a lot of things in this. He's pushing drugs, he's pushing ecstasy, pushing having sex. We know this is a major problem in low income and African American communities. It's just having sex, having children without responsibility, without marriage, just all of these things that are being pushed. And the thing that got me was, I mean, where is the LGBT? He got that in his song. He called somebody a faggot, eh? I mean, come on. I mean, if this was said by a white man on a radio program or something, he would have got his songs removed or something. I mean, it's just crazy how there is such a hypocrisy when it comes to music, but it is the devil's tool of choice, and it is what he uses to push his agenda. So I just wanted to come on and say this. I'm not going to go into the other lyrics. I could. There's so much I could say, but I do have a series about this, The Truth Behind Hip Hop. Got 13 installments that deal with the lyrics. I go into the lyrics to talk about all these things. I mean, these folks are talking about stuff all in their songs that are just outrageous when it comes to what is moral and what is proper. But if you hide it in the music, if you say it in the music, you'll have the very ones that are supposed to be lifting up our communities, helping our communities, teach against these things. Those very same people will give it a pass and say, wow, what a great show. This was the best show I've ever seen, the best halftime show I've ever seen. And it's very sad to see. So y'all, we need to make sure we're paying attention, because hip hop isn't going anywhere. This movement, this culture is not going anywhere. It's going to stay here. It was put here, implanted here to destroy the African American family, to destroy the African American community. So it's time to wake up, people, and understand what's really going on.